What's up, player? Ooh, don't hate the player, hate the game, y'all. Got the Corona beat, man. I got this thing beat. No Corona getting in here, man. Crap.
Hey, if you can't laugh at a little pandemic while smoking a Dr. Grabow in your basically garage, then what are we as a society, right? I think when it's all said and done, they'll find that strong Lakelands and Virginia Periques will ultimately be the ultimate protection against not just the coronavirus, but viruses in general. Viri? I don't know. Vironians? Vironians, hear me, Vironians. I am your leader. Viral. Viral the Great. Actually, it would be virus. And if you took a year or two of Latin, that's funny. That's punny. Virus, virum. I didn't say I stayed awake in Latin class. I just was technically enrolled. Anyway, I just thought I'd take a moment to goof with you. Because, hey, why not? This is a little housekeeping, just a little. This is not a vintage Dr. Grabow. I think it's a little Grand Duke. Yeah, Grand Duke, Dr. Grabow. This is not an old one. It's not an Adjustomatic series or anything. This was like old stock. Every once in a while, if you watch the E of Bay, you can get kind of some closeout inventory from like somebody that got into their closet from the store they used to run, or, you know, an odd lot of inventory they're selling off from someplace that closed down. And this was one of those. He had 2 or 3 Grand Dukes. I think 1 or 2 were smooth and 1 or 2 were rusticated. I think there was 1 smooth and 2 rusticated. And it was just first come, first serve. And, you know, but they were like $20. Now, is this a pipe I'd spend $35 plus on? I don't know. Probably not. The new ones are not really drilled as well usually as the old ones are, and the old ones are usually better briar. But they're also pipes that were usually smoked, usually got a bunch of teeth marks, even though they have vulcanite stems instead of the cheap thermoplastic. So there's ups and downs. If you find an old one that isn't beat to death because it was one of 1 or 2 or 3 pipes Grandpa had, that was just maybe one he didn't like or didn't get to yet that was in the rack, they're a bargain. And they're out there because they sold a freaking bazillion of these. You know, if you can't find one, these actually aren't bad little pipes. If you find them, you know, on some kind of deal like that where it's old inventory closeout. I mean, these were still in a blister pack. I've got a little Stratford from GLP's in it. It's not a big pipe, but it's really light. It's one of the few pipes I'll actually clench all day if I wanted to. I'm just not a big clencher. That's a good vapor, by the way. I like it. Hear me, Vironians. Stratford is the stuff. No, but anyway, check out, if you're not already subbed, and you probably are, to the Artful Codger. Check out his channel. He's just done a new video, I think yesterday or so, on some of the vintage Grabows and the Adjustomatic series and so forth. The upside is it's a great video. The downside is now it's going to be a lot harder to find them clean for cheap money on eBay for a while because everybody else has just watched that video. But, like I said, there is a blue million of these things out there. And at least 250,000 of them are still in good shape. And some of them are just really, really funky and just need, have an opening left the size of a big pen. And, you just got to clean them up. But, if you're going to look at anything, look at this. Look at where your chompers go on these things, because these were pipes people smoked a lot if they got smoked much. But Grabow wasn't dumb. The reason he had a lot of pipes this size is they are perfect for like a 20-30 minute smoke, where you're not going to sit around and luxuriate for an hour and 15 minutes and pontificate on all the finer points of the tobaccos you're smoking. This is a hit it and forget it size pipe. Did I just say that? Yeah, I just said that. It was said, you heard it here, Grabows are the ultimate hit it and quit it. But you can go out and have a quick smoke. And if you remember Grandpa always having one of these in a shirt pocket, they're just super light. So not only do they clench well, but if you throw that in your pocket, it's really light. If you forget and it falls out, it's so light it probably won't break when it hits the ground. It's not a big bowl. They're fairly conical. Unfortunately, a lot of the newer ones tend to be drilled a little high, but not all of them. So, if you're looking at some place that has a bunch of these hanging and they don't care if you kind of slide the blister pack open or get a flashlight out like your phone and kind of stare into the bowl, you might find one that's drilled a little lower than the rest of them if you look. They kind of have a little friction aluminum kind of tenon that goes in. And if you just fell in love with the pipe, I suppose you could probably have another tenon made for it. But you can also get another tenon from Dr. Grabow for, I think, 11 or 12 bucks. They're pretty cheap plastic. They're not bad. It's not a bad shape. It's comfortable. I hear that they're very soft, but again, I'm not much of a pipe chomper, so it would take me an awful long time to chew through one, I guess, because I'm not really somebody that chews on my pipes. But if you are kind of that canine pipe chewing person, maybe not the best stem material for you. Because they probably won't last an awful long time. The briar is very light. However, having said that, if I can find it really quick, and that is a big if. Here it is. Here's one that was... Now, I don't necessarily recommend running out and buying one of these because they're not a good value in my opinion, although they're kind of a neat pipe. They're not a great value because they're up around $45, $50. And you're into like Rossi Rubino money for a pipe with a proper vulcanite stem that is just better finished and better made. And they come with a thick goopy finish, and you don't really know what's under. But that's the Dr. Grabow, the big pipe. Now this one I stripped off and sanded down quite a bit and fine sanded and oiled and waxed. And underneath all that goopy finish, there's one or two fills, but overall, some beautiful briar. Unusually, you wouldn't expect a Grabow to be sporting. Like there's a fill there, you can probably see up here. But other than that, I think there's one somewhere on the stem. Remarkably unusually really nice briar for a cheap Dr. Grabow. And again, you've still got the same kind of cheaper stem albeit a little beefier one, but you know, a good shape and very smokable. There's nothing wrong with it. These are all 6mm, you know, so I guess you could throw a balsa in there or the little Medico paper filters. I'm not a filter guy, so I also sanded the top down because that checkering was so deep that it was holding everything, like tobacco, fuzzies off pipe cleaners, and this edge was very sharp. So that got sanded down. So those are pretty much my two Grabows. I don't have any really cool vintage ones. I probably will grab one or two if I ever find, like, run across a couple of good deals. Because there's some really cool old pipes on them out there. And some of them are really nice briar. I think they used to be more of an imported briar of a higher quality. And they generally had vulcanite stems. And the Adjustomatic is not the worst system because there's some upsides to it, like the Artful Codger mentions in his video. If it's not too far out of kilter, I mean, it's easy to take apart. It's pretty hard to break. I mean, basically don't over tighten it. If you have to over tighten it, some of them that are Adjustomatic will let you kind of over tighten it a certain amount so that you come out plumb again. And some of them aren't that, or some of them are that, but it's seized. So, you know, if you can, try it before you buy it as far as alignment and all that, because it's not always necessarily something where it's as adjustable as it sounds, for my understanding. But a lot of them did have some adjustment built into it where it would slip a certain amount and let you kind of rewrite it. So it may have that and just be seized if it doesn't seem to have that. And you could do a little reading online on them and kind of get a feel for spotting those a little better. And it may actually say Adjustomatic on the pipe, some of those. So you may actually see it in some cases in script on the pipe. But anyway, neither here nor there. Some of them are really nice pipes with surprisingly good briar. That's a new one, and it's surprisingly good briar. Like, that's a good pipe. Now, for $6 or $7 more, I could have got a Rubino, Rossi Rubino, or Rubino Antico. Could have had a 320, could have had a billiard, whatever. Bent, could have picked the shape. Beautiful finish. No legwork involved, no stripping, no sanding, no refinishing, and a decent vulcanite stem. And a modern 6mm that would definitely take a balsa, no problem. Does this take a balsa? That's a good question. You would ask that. I've got some. Oops, I dropped half and half. Oh well. At least it was half and half. Dang. Yeah, here we go. I've got some filters here. Let's take a look and see if one will fit in there. Because I don't really know. I've never tried to put a balsa in a modern Dr. Grabow. So I've got some more of the Medico filters. I don't use them, but I do technically have them. See, I had like little filters and stuff in case I wanted them. I don't know. Let's find out. Let's twist that bad boy open. 6mm 7LE filter. Ooh, I shaved a little piece off putting it in there. We'll take it out and make sure that's not in there. But I would say maybe compress the corners a little before you try to slide it in. That's what she said. I know, I heard that. I heard that in the back row. Take some little fuzzies off. The little two slots there were some little balsa fuzzies, so I knocked those off. But there is currently. Oh, I still have stuff in there. Duh. Yeah. It does appear to work, so I assumed it would, but just because I think it would didn't mean it would. So now you have it on a tested authority that you can in fact use your balsas in a modern Grabow, because this is the little Grand Duke model, so I'm sure it would fit the bigger one as well. with no problem if it'll fit this little bugger. So, I don't know. A few thoughts on Grabows. I mean, I think he covered everything as far as the vintage ones and the bargain aspects and some cool shapes and showing them off. So, hit that video. I'll try to put a link down in the bucket for it, and give him a sub if you're not already subbed, because he's got a great channel. And so, shout out to my boy, the Artful Codger, and link below to his video. So, I don't know. This is kind of like a little fun, goofy add-on, I guess. Vironius the Magnificent has spoken.